Hey there, VCHHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, we're looking at the VCAA 2025 HHD sample exam, question number 3, suggested sample answers. This is relevant for Unit 3 and 4 HHD for the 2025 plus HHD study design. Before I dive into this video, just a reminder, there's a range of ways you can engage with the Health Resources Hub. If you're on YouTube at the moment, you can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there to our YouTube channel. That means you'll get alerts to all of our new videos as they come out between now and the end of the year, especially in the lead up to the HHD exam this year. We've also got our website, thehh.net.au, where there's opportunities for HHD students and teachers, so please check that out. We've got our social media, our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pages where you can follow us and get alerts to our new videos and other opportunities, and also our email info at thehh.net.au if you'd like to get in touch. Before we dive into this video, just a reminder, if you're after some course notes and practice questions for Unit 3 and 4 HHD in the lead up to the exam this year, we've got some new course notes and practice questions available via the link on our website. If you head to our website, you'll see there's a student drop down, and then there is a link to this page here where you can access the form to fill in, and then you'll be able to access our course notes and practice questions. So if that's something you're after to make sure across all the key concepts and you're after some extra practice questions and sample answers to help you prepare for the exam this year, covers all of Unit 3 and 4 areas of study, you can fill that out and we'll be in touch. Okay, so let's have a look at question 3 from the sample exam this year. So a reminder that there is no provided VCAA sample answers to the sample exam. So that's why we're going through and chatting about some suggested sample answers. You can see for question 3 here, it's worth 9 marks. So there's several parts to this question. And it starts with some information here in the graph. So you can see the life expectancy of 2 population groups in Australia in 2024. And then it has the years on the y-axis and then the different population groups A and B, okay, on the x-axis. So when you see information like this in the exam, you should be thinking about what part of the course does this seem like it's related to. So hopefully this would flag to you this information here that this is Unit 3 Area Study 1, where you're looking at different population groups and variations in health status. And so A is just referring to data from the bar chart above, outline the difference in life expectancy between population group A and population group B. So that's worth 2 marks. So obviously you'd look out for referring to data in any question in the exam, because that means you have to refer to numbers as part of your response. Hopefully you can see here, looking at the bar chart, that clearly population group B has a higher life expectancy than population group A, so that would form part of your response. So you can see here is a suggested sample answer. So it just mentions that population group A has a lower life expectancy at approximately 81.5 years compared to population group B has a higher life expectancy at approximately 85.5 years. So there's a couple of different ways that you could structure the response like this. You could just write the first sentence being the difference in population group A, okay, experiencing that lower life expectancy than population group B, and then have the data in the second sentence, or you could incorporate it into one sentence like this, as long as that key information is there. That is really what we're looking for when allocating the marks for this particular response here. So obviously you should refer to appropriate units, okay, when referencing data as well. And so obviously in this case, years is the unit for life expectancy. So you can see there that suggested mark allocation that I mentioned. So a mark for the correct use of data and then a mark for correctly outlining that difference in life expectancy between population group A and population group B. So that was part A of the question. Before we dive into part B, just a reminder, there's still a couple of exam revision lectures coming up, the ones that I'm presenting for ACE. So on the 5th of October and also the 15th of October, there's 2 sessions remaining. These are both running online, so you can join from anywhere in the state in Victoria. And so in these sessions, I'll go over exam strategies and advice for section A and B in the exam this year, as well as covering all the key concepts across Unit 3 and 4. So they're really great sessions, had some really great feedback so far. If you are interested, head to book.acevc.com and you can book a place. You can also bundle a lecture ticket together with the revisions questions book that you can see there, that's got over 500 marks worth of practice questions, as well as a full trial exam and sample answers and a full chapter on extended response questions. So that's something you might be interested in as well. Okay, so then B was describe how a biological factor and an environmental factor could lead to the variation in health status between population group A and population group B shown in the bar chart above. So there's a few things going on obviously in the question here. Obviously you've got to give a biological and environmental factor, but it mentions there could lead to the variation in health status. So you need to make clear what that variation is as part of your answer in each section. And so that was obviously the difference in life expectancy between population group A and population group B. So that's just something to always look out for in HHD exam questions, that term variation in health status, and make sure you're referring to the variation as part of your response. So there's obviously lots of biological and lots of environmental factors. So I've just given you a couple of examples here that you could have chosen as part of your response. And so remember that you have to think about in a response like this, if population group A had a lower life expectancy than B, then for these different factors that you're choosing, it's likely that population group A will be worse off for those factors because that will contribute to them, okay, developing health conditions that would be more likely to lead them to die prematurely and have the lower life expectancy. So obviously you don't know, okay, enough information about population group A and B to know definitively if this is the case, but that's not what you're being asked for in this question. You're being asked to suggest, based on your knowledge in HHD, what is likely. And so you can see here the way I've phrased these responses makes that clear. So for the first biological factor, I've given their blood cholesterol. So population group A may have a higher blood cholesterol level than population group B. So that language is really important. I'm saying this may be likely given the information that's been provided. And this may contribute to population group A having high levels of atherosclerosis, where cholesterol builds up and contributes to blocking arteries. And that could lead to premature death from a heart attack, contributing to the lower life expectancy for population group A. So you can see I've clearly linked there, okay, that potential difference in blood cholesterol to a health condition, so premature death from a heart attack, and then linked that to the difference in health status, that variation I was talking about before, the lower life expectancy for population group A. So you can see also in that first response, I've mentioned both population group A and B as part of that response there. So make sure whenever there is, okay, a question about differences between, say, population groups, or even in Unit 4, differences between, say, high and low income countries, that you mention both groups, okay, as part of each response. The next one there you can see is an environmental factor, so access to healthcare. And you'll see the way that I've structured this response is very similar to the biological factor. So the first sentence is looking at the potential difference in access to healthcare. So population group A may live further away from healthcare services, such as a GP, than population group B, and that may contribute to population group A not receiving regular health checkups and health conditions such as cancer going undiagnosed, which could lead to premature death from cancer and contribute to lower life expectancy for population group A. So you'll see it's a really similar structure, okay? You're making it clear how the factor could be different between population group A and B, and then how that could lead, okay, to the difference in developing a health condition and dying from it, which can then contribute to that lower life expectancy from population group A. So hopefully you'll be able to use that structure for any similar type of question you could get on different population groups and factors in the exam this year. You can see, okay, I've mentioned that consideration already, and the suggested mark allocation. So the reference to the factor and how it might differ between population group A and B, and then how that could contribute to a difference in life expectancy, and then the similar for environmental factor as well. If you find this useful, you can see at the bottom there it mentions that we have a free student newsletter, which is going out a couple of times a term, and there'll be another one going out shortly with some free exam resources and advice. If you'd like to sign up to that, you can head to our website, theh.net.au, and you'll see there's a student drop down where you can sign up to our free student newsletter. Okay, so then the final part of this question here was suggest how the concept of the social model of health could lead to improved life expectancy. So you can see this was worth 3 marks. And so I think 3-mark questions are often challenging for students because often they're not sure where that additional 3rd mark is coming from. So I suggest to students that you should always probably write a little bit more than you think, okay, for a 3-mark response, just to try to ensure you've got enough detail there to achieve that 3rd mark. This one here is obviously focusing on the concept of the social model of health, so you should make it clear that you understand that model, and then include a specific example of the model that obviously you can link to reducing the likelihood of somebody dying from a health condition, and then linking that on to improve life expectancy. You've always got to look out for in questions the direction that it's asking you, okay, to indicate your answer. And this one's talking about improve life expectancy. So don't do the opposite and talk about how something can reduce life expectancy, because that's not what the question is asking. Okay, so you can see a suggested sample answer here. So in the first sentence, I've just given an overview of the social model of health. And then in the second sentence, I've given a specific example. So government health promotion campaigns could be run on television and social media, educating people about the risks of behavior such as smoking and vaping. So I've been really specific there, and I always encourage students in HHD be specific, not general or vague. And so then I've said this may lead to less people smoking and vaping, reducing the impact of harmful chemicals in the body that may contribute to conditions such as lung cancer. And if less people are dying prematurely from lung cancer, that will help to improve life expectancy. So linking into the reduced likelihood of a health condition and dying prematurely from it, and then linking that back to improved life expectancy, because that was the focus of the question. So you can see the considerations I've mentioned there, that specific example of the social model of health, and make sure that you're referencing a reduction in premature death when you're linking to improved life expectancy. And so you can see that suggested mark allocation, so demonstrating understanding of the social model of health, a specific example linked to a health condition, and then that linking into a reduction in premature death and improved life expectancy. Okay, hopefully you've found that useful. If you do find this useful, you might, as I said, be interested in this HHD revision questions book, where I've provided a range of questions across all the different parts of Unit 3 and 4, and they all have sample answers that hopefully will help you in preparation for the exam this year. So if you'd like a copy, you can head to book.acedvc.com and it'll come in the post. Okay, hopefully you found that video useful. Thanks so much.